Hearty welcome to all my dear students. I gladly invite all my dear students to the sixth session of learning the chapter Change and Development in Rural Society. I request all of you to take the page number 69, paragraph 1. Today we can finish this chapter and also we can go through question and answers. Page number 69, paragraph 1. Name of the chapter is Change and Development in Rural Society. The first paragraph focuses on the idea of emergence of multinational companies into agriculture. We know that the rich farmers, they could benefit the emergence of green revolution, but the marginal farmers, it means the farmers who have no sufficient land for production, such farmers were really suffering because of green revolution, because there were introductions of expensive seeds, fertilizers, pesticides that only rich farmer can afford. Here, first point is that there were emergences of multinational companies into agriculture. This is the reason for globalization of agriculture. The entrance of the multinational companies into agriculture is the real reason for or behind globalization of agriculture. What do you mean by globalization of agriculture? Globalization means what? The market in India is open to foreign market, or foreign market is open to India. It means Indian products can be sold in foreign market and foreign products can be sold in Indian market. But there are some negative impact on the farmers. It means the marginal farmers who could not buy expensive inputs introduced by multinational companies. Next point, and we know that the multinational companies, third point, the multinational companies, they started to sell expensive seeds, fertilizers and pesticides to Indian market. And after some time, the Indian state wanted to make some changes in agricultural, what we can say, programs. There were some changes happened in agricultural programs. First, the change is that the agricultural extension agents, we had agricultural extension agents. It means what? The people who were responsible for make innovations in the field of agriculture. Such people were replaced by the agents of seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, and such agents, they were the agents of different multinational companies. It means globalization of agriculture started in India. In simple way, I wanted to tell you that the foreign fertilizers, it means what? The pesticides, fertilizers, hybrid seeds, which were made in foreign countries, started to come to India. This is called globalization of agriculture. This happened in India when the government made some changes in developmental programs, because the agricultural extension agents, they were replaced by the agents of multinational companies, they started to sell expensive fertilizers, pesticides in India. And the agents, they started to give informations how to use the hybrid seeds and how to do the cultivation practices, and they started to create interest in the mind of the farmer, because such seeds, it means hybrid seeds, can yield more production. The state wanted to awaken or wanted to give more attention to the production of crops, so that the state gave permission for the multinational companies to sell their fertilizers, pesticides to Indian market, so that we can produce more, we can make agriculture more, what we can say, beneficial, more productive, so that we can achieve economic development. Even though this is a positive side, but there are some negative sides. The marginal farmers, the poor farmers, they were doing traditional, what we can say, agriculture. Their products could not be sold in market. We know the reason, because the emergence of green revolution and globalization of agriculture. And the negative impact of the emergence of multinational company, first one is the farmers, they have to depend upon the expensive fertilizers. The poor farmers, they were helpless. They were helplessly started to buy expensive fertilizers, and which reduced their profit, and farmers, they were, what we can say, forced to be in debt, and which led to the ecological crisis in rural area, because of, what we can say, the usage of chemicals, which affected the soil in India. Ecological balance is lost in rural area. It did not affect negatively to the rich farmers, and the poor farmers in the rural area, they started to buy expensive hybrid seeds, fertilizers and pesticides. Such farmer started to suffer, and which led to, what we can say, sufferings in their life. Some of the farmers, they took suicide because of the financial crisis happened in their life. Due to debt, they had to give more money to the people. And the next point is that the paragraph second concentrates on the topic of sufferings of farmers. Already we have studied suffering of farmers. First one is that the farmers, they faced problems in the form of drought, crops failure, and debt. They had to give money to the people for many centuries. Crop failure was a crisis happened in the life of farmer, and which led them to their suicide, which was given importance by the sociologist. The sociologist noticed that these are some of the important reasons why or behind the suicide of farmers. First one, crop failure. Second one, drought, lack of facilities, lack of irrigation, lack of money, lack of transport facility, lack of water supply, lack of rainfall, and excessive rainfall. These are some of the reasons behind crop failure. And crop diseases also happen because of excessive rainfall. If the rainfall is excessive or too much, it also led to the crop failure. These are the reasons behind farmers' death. Next one is that there are some, what we can say, reasons for their suicide because of matrix events. Matrix events means what? The suicide happened because of several factors. This is called the matrix events. Events happened in their life. A series of events happened in their life. First one, crop failure. Second one, drought. Third one, what we can say, debt. These are the series of realities, things happened in their life which led to their death. First one we can say behind their suicide. First one, they were marginal farmers. The marginal farmers, they, what we can say, they took risk in their life. The marginal farmers, they took risk in their life because they started to adopt green revolution. The marginal, the poor farmers also wanted to take a risk in their life because they wanted to adopt green revolution methods for increasing production. What are the green revolution methods for green revolution? For increasing production. First one, what we can say, they started to buy expensive inputs. They started to buy expensive seeds. They started to buy expensive fertilizers, pesticides. So these are the some of the risks taken by the marginal farmers, but it was not successful. Even though they took a risk in their life, the risk did not give them any success in their life because cost of production increased. They did not get any subsidies from the state. The state did not support, and they borrowed money for buying inputs for improving production and led to their debt. In these are the ways by which it means what crisis happened in the life of the marginal farmers because they started to adopt green revolution or the methods of green revolution for increasing production. What are the methods? First, what we can say, buy hybrid seeds which can yield more produce. Second one, fertilizers, pesticides. But some of the crises happened in their life. First one, production cost increased. Second one, what we can say, climate. And third one, we can say that, what we can say, the market became unstable because they were not getting sufficient price for their produce. So they borrowed their money from others, and it was also led to their crisis. And these are the efforts made by risk taken by the marginal farmers, but it led to failure because spread of disease spread because of excessive rainfall led to crop failure. Then these are the things which led to burden. It means what? Burden on their life. And there were no sufficient adequate price. They were not given sufficient amount of money. And in their life more crisis happened because their expenditure in their life also increased because during that time marriage expenditure increased. Dowry system, because of dowry system they have to give money for as dowries, and they have to educate their children, they have to buy medicines, and so these are the some of the crises happened in their life. And now we can move to page number 70, paragraph 1. Now we can conclude the chapter. how we can conclude the chapter. When the chapter is going to be over, we can understand that these are the sufferings of the marginal farmers because they wanted to, what we can say, adopt green revolution methods. First one, buying expensive seed, buying expensive fertilizers and pesticides. So they thought that production will be more. But just opposite happened in their life. What are the things happened in their life? Cost production increased, first one. Market became unstable, second one. Third one, they started to borrow more money for improving production, but production was not improving because the cost of production was increasing. And not only that, what we can say, inadequate market price. Main reason is that crop failure. Crop failure caused by excessive rainfall and disease, the spread of disease. And not only that, the home expenditure, it means marriage expenditure, they had to give money for marriage, they had to give money for their children's education, they had to give money for medicines, and these are the expenditure which worsened their crisis. Already they were in crisis because of crop failure, and these are the more burdens and which happened in their life and which led to their, what we can say, suicide. And how we can conclude the chapter? First point is that farmers' suicides have some particular way. It means what there are some particular reasons. There is a particular pattern of behind their suicide, caused by natural disease, caused by debt because they borrowed money from others. And next one is that they started to feel difficult to live. Third point is that the state did not support when they were in crisis. The state did not support. Not only that, the suffering farmers did not form political pressure groups. Political pressure groups means what? If a group of people suffering, they were making some movement. They are protesting against some of the things happening in the society. We know that during that time, the upper class people and the middle class people, they were wealthy, they were rich because they had enough land for agricultural production. So, Green Revolution did not affect them. Who suffered? The marginal farmers suffered more. Even though discrimination is there in the society, the marginal farmers, they could not protest against this. They could not make any political mobilization. They did not make any movement against discrimination in their life because land is distributed unequally among the people in their society. The rich becomes richer and the poor becomes poorer. This is what happened in the society. Even though this happened, the marginal farmers, the agriculturalists, the suffering farmers, they did not make any movement. This is another reason. Last one is that even though there were some government schemes to help farmers to provide a quality life in their life. First one is that Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Second one, Gram Uday Bharat Uday Abhiyan. And third one, National Urban Mission. These were some of the governmental schemes. It is given in the book. Please go through that. and learn these names, which were the important governmental schemes for increasing the quality of life of farmers. And these are the some of the what we can say important ideas. And in conclusion, now we can move to important session, that is a question and answer. First one is that read the passage given and answer the questions. The harsh working conditions suffered by laborers in Agani were an outcome of combined effect of the economic power of the Maliks as a class and their overwhelming power as members of dominant caste. What do you mean by that? The Maliks, they were dominant caste, and laborers were suffered. They were suffering under the land owners. A significant aspect of the social power of Maliks was their ability to secure the intervention of various arms of the state to advance their interest. The state supported the interest of the land owners. Thus, political factors decisively contributed to widening the gulf between dominant class and the underclass. It means what? There are some political factors which separated the upper class or dominant class and the lower class. First question: why do you think the Maliks were able to use the power of the state to advance their own interest? We know that in a society, who is ruling, which group is ruling? In every society, the dominant caste is ruling. The Maliks are belonging to dominant caste, so the state is supporting them. That is the first answer. And they have political, economic and social, what we can say, dominance. And these are the answers for this question. Mainly they are dominant caste, so politically, economically, they are powerful. Second one, why did laborers have hard working conditions? First, main reason is that they belonged to Dalit, lower caste. They are landless people and they did not have access to land. Forever they have to work under this Maliks. Now, second answer, what measures do you think the government has taken or should take to protect the rights of landless agricultural laborers and migrant workers? There are some governments took some, what we can say, programs, started some programs for uplifting the life of the landless people. We know that which are the things. First one is that the abolition of bonded labor. Abolition of first. Now I am teaching you the answer of the question. Second one. The first point is that abolition of bonded labor. We know that the workers, the landless workers, they were working under landowners for getting some support politically, economically and socially. This is called bonded labor or hereditary labor. They were working, the laborers, they are landless people, they are working under the landowners from generations to generation, which was abolished. And we know that the Halpadi system in Gujarat, the Jita system in Karnataka, these are the examples of bonded or hereditary system. This is the first step taken by the government. Second one, we can say that land consolidation. What do you mean by land consolidation? Land consolidation means there were merging of small area of land into bigger lands. It means smaller lands are consolidated into bigger one. It helped the rural farmers for producing more produce, so they become economically, what we can say, economically it helped them. Again, I wanted to tell you that land consolidation is the another step taken by the state for helping the rural farmers. What do you mean by land consolidation? The name says that land is consolidated. It means small area of land is merged into a bigger land. So the farmers started to cultivate from such bigger land. So production is more. So it can help the farmers economically. This is the second point for this answer. The third one is that abolition of zamindari system. We know that the zamindari system means what? They are the upper most powerful players in the agrarian structure. They were the most powerful landlords in the agrarian structure. They exploited the cultivators because they are the mediators between the government and the cultivators. When the government is imposing tax, the zamindars, he is exploiting the cultivators because the cultivator had to give more portion of produce to zamindars, because zamindars started to exploit the cultivators. Cultivators did not get any benefit from agriculture. Zamindari system was removed. This is another important step taken by the government for helping the cultivators and the tenants. Third one is that the abolition of what we can say tenancy. Tenancy means people who are borrowing or taking land from the landowners and cultivating on it, and they had to give a portion. It means what? Around majority portion of production to the landowners. The tenancy abolition was not possible in India, especially we know that states like West Bengal and Kerala, there were some radical restructuring of agrarian, what we can say, structure happened. Agrarian structure, what we can say, got changed. Because of that, tenancy started again. Tenancy continued again, and with the more security to the tenants, because tenants had to give around 75% of what we can say total produce to the landowners. So the rest, it means what? Tenants were not benefited by agriculture. So the states like West Bengal and Kerala took step to protect tenants, even though some states tried to abolish tenancy, but it was not properly done in India. Abolition of tenancy was another step taken by Indian state, but it was not possible. It was not successful. It was not fruitful in India. Instead of that, more security to the tenancy. Next one is that what we can say Land Ceiling Act. We know that what you mean by Land Ceiling Act. There is a limit to possess land, because there were landowners, they had huge area of land. The landless people, they were suffering in one side. Another side, there were the landowners, they had huge area of land. So the state wanted to put limit to for the landowners to possess the land. This is the meaning of Land Ceiling Act. And more control on less productive area and less control on productive area. It means what? They have to, what we can say, if the landowners are having arid region, it means less productive area, so that more limitation to possess less productive area. They have to give land which is less productive to the government. The government will give such area to what we can say landless people, and less limitation on productive land, more limitation on less productive area. This is called Land Ceiling Act. Even though it was introduced, but the landlords or landowners, they could escape the law. We know the results. And these are some of the programs or steps taken by state for uplifting the life of the farmers. Now we can move to next question. Third one. There are what we can say direct linkage between situation of agricultural workers and their lack of upward social economic mobility. Name some of the. We know that if the agricultural workers, their social situation is, we know that they belong to lower class. They did not belong to the workers, they did not belong to upper class, neither upper class nor middle class. They belong to lower class, so that they cannot make a social mobility. They cannot become part of upper class or what we can say middle class. And there is a direct linkage between, there is a connection between social situation and social mobility. If the situation is good, if the people, for example, people who belong to higher caste, already they have, it means situation, their situation is better because they are in upper position. What about lower caste or lower class? They belong to lower class, so their social situation is making them to be part of what we can say social or lower class. The answer for this question is that first one is that there are some reasons: social situation and social mobility. Situation means what? They belong to lower caste, so they cannot make any social mobility. Social mobility is not possible for lower caste, or lower class people cannot become upper class. First reason is that land is not equally distributed among the upper class and lower class. First reason. Second reason, patrilineal system, women were excluded from honoring the land. Third one, the majority of people were landless and they were paid below minimum wage by the landowners. They were daily workers and they did not have a regular job and their life was insecure. Next one, tenants suffered a lot because they had to give majority of produce or portion of their produce to the landowners. Next one, the class structure which is influenced by caste structure. We know that the dominant caste, they had access to land, and dominant caste is always the upper class also, because upper class means what? They were the wealthiest people, and dominant caste means what? Religiously they are dominant and they had access to land. They were also having much land, and upper class people also having much land. There is a correspondence between the structure of upper class, middle class, lower class, and upper caste, middle caste, lower caste. Because when we compare upper class and upper caste, both are wealthiest people, both are having land, and middle class and middle caste people also are having access to land, both are powerful economically, politically. But what about lower class and lower caste people? They were workers, they were laborers, they were landless. There is a correspondence. But only one exception is there, the Brahmins. The Brahmins, even though they belonged to upper caste, they did not have access to land, they were out of the agrarian structure. You have to remember this. And this is the third answer. Now we can move to the fourth question. What are the different factors that have enabled certain groups to transform themselves into new wealthy, entrepreneurial, dominant caste? Can you think an example of this transformation in your state? We know that there were green revolution, globalization which happened in India. Because of that, some of the dominant people, they increased. It means their status became better. We know that. The This is the question. There are some reasons why some of the group became entrepreneurial. We know that. First reason is that there were some rich farmers and they utilized technology in farming. First point, there were rich or agriculturalists, it means wealthy farmers, and they could make use of the benefit of green revolution. They bought hybrid seeds, they bought fertilizers, pesticides, so agriculture will become more beneficial for them. Not only that, agriculture and social market, the market, there is a linkage between agriculture and market. So such farmers, they could sell their products to the market, so they became more wealthy because of the coming of green revolution, which gave them hybrid seeds which yielded more produce, so that they became more rich. This is what happened in their life, which happened during 1960s and 70s. And the farmers, they belonged to dominant caste, and they were living in agriculturally rich regions such as coastal Andhra Pradesh, western Uttar Pradesh, central Gujarat. They started to, it means the farmers who were living in these areas, they were benefited because of green revolution. They earned more money. Because of that, they started to invest profit into other business enterprises. And such people became new entrepreneurial groups, and so that they wanted to move away from rural to towns, and so in towns they were living as elites, dominant economically the elites. It means what? Rich people and higher caste people, and they started to move to towns in search of more facilities, and there they started to live a life which was more economic and political. We know that. And class structure changed. It means what? The people who were living in rural areas, they became more wealthy because of green revolution. They started to send their children to colleges, and the new generation emerged. It means what? The new generations with a different attitude towards agriculture. The new generation, they started to get what we can say new jobs. They were separated from agricultural activities. It means white collar jobs, and started other business. It means what? They became urban middle class. This is the second group of people. Third, and we can say there were some consolidation of old landed or cultivating groups. It means what? The people who were cultivators, the cultivating groups. This is the third one. Cultivating groups. They were joined, they were united, and they were transforming themselves into rural, urban middle class. But in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, which did not get the benefit of land reform, political mobilization, so that not much changes in agrarian structure. It means that the people who were living in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, these are the states where much progress happened because it was not benefited by land reforms, so that they did not change, their structure became same, they became what we can say the same class. And what we can say, these are the some of the ideas for this answer. So if you have any doubts, you can ask during the live stream. I request all of you to read the question and answers, read the chapter. This chapter is very important. There are some concepts, you have to form the concepts, you have to get basic ideas from this chapter, so that you can answer from your own mind. Whatever may be the question, you can answer from your own mind. If you have any question to be asked during live stream, or you can also message me. So I am ready to give you answers. So read the question, read the answer. Up to fourth one, importance is there. Fifth onwards, less importance. Just to read such questions. And up to fourth one, please write the answer in your own words. So God bless you. Thank you.